Hello and welcome to a video tutorial on how to make a stylus for your iPad or any touchscreen device or tablet or anything. So first I'll talk about the supplies that you're going to need. And you're going to need a Papermate pin like this one. And the nice thing about it is it just comes out like that really easily. So it's easy to work with. So you'll need that. And then a couple of Q-tips. Various pliers. Also, this is already pre-stripped, but you're going to need, I don't know what gauge it is, but it's some sort of wire, and you need to make sure the copper is also solid, because I tried it with just a few strands of like regular wire, and it didn't work too well, so you need to make sure it's solid. Also, some foam, and this one's already cut down to size, but you can get it with like electronics, and basically it conducts your electricity, and that's just how it senses like the touching on the iPad. Also, you need some solder and a soldering iron. Okay, so first you're going to want to take your pin and take the cap off, and then twist this out, and then carefully pull the ink out. And just a side note, you are working with ink, so be very careful. It will ruin your clothes and whatever you get it on. Just throw that away. So it might be handy to have a paper towel to wipe up any spills that you may have, which I just did. Alright, and then next, whoops, sorry. Alright, next you're going to want to take one of your pliers, and these are wire cutters, and just slowly sort of work it around. And if you just saw that, the tip, it just sort of popped out, so then you can actually pull it out like that. And again, be careful. There will be a lot of ink on it. You can sort of wipe that up now. And then just slowly cut this off because you don't want to crack it anywhere. Now, one thing I forgot to mention, you're going to need an X-Acto knife or maybe a drill bit if you would like it. I made one earlier today, and I used a drill to hollow it out after I did the X-Acto knife step. But basically you just want to hollow out this tip part, so that way you can fit your wiring and the foam in there. More ink. So now you can take a Q-tip and just clean it up. Okay, so I've gotten it all hollowed out now, so the next step is to grab your drill, and this is optional. It would probably work just fine if you don't do this, but my bit fits pretty much right snug in the front. Just go slowly because you don't want to hurt your fingers. And just hollow it out like that. Another quick side note is, because you may have still had ink in here, when you drilled it out, I wouldn't use that drill bit anymore to, I don't know, drill like nice projects, because you might end up with like a ring of ink around the hole you drilled, and you might not be too happy about that. Alright, so now we are back to the pin like part, and then you may not be able to see this, but right here there's sort of a little hole thing, and that actually lines up with another indent on this cap part. Let me see. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. So basically what we're going to want to do now is take our X-Acto knife again and sort of bore out that hole just by twisting it. You want to make sure you get it to a decent size so the wire can fit through. Okay, so I got the holes both sort of bored in these, and then also with this one I sort of flattened it out behind it so that way the wire can fit down and not cause a lot of friction when it slides in here. So now what we're going to want to do is to take our electric foam stuff and sort of roll it up, and you want to cut it to sort of a V shape. I forgot to mention this. That'll just make it so it fits in and have a wide tip. And if you haven't done so, you may want to take some sandpaper or something and smooth down the tip of your pen, because it might be sort of sharp and you don't want it to scratch your iPad screen. Okay, so then just roll this up and then shove it in, and that's what it should look like now. And then you may want to test this right now, and basically you just take your wire and then bend sort of a curve in it, and then stick it in the side hole like so, and then slowly shove it down here. And then I would keep your thumb on this foam part and just feel it until you feel it start like poking through, and then back up maybe half a centimeter, because you don't want it to stick through and scratch your screen either, because it's a sharp point on this. Alright, so that feels good. And then I'd just have my iPod right here to test it, and then just hold this wire part and see if it responds. And yes, it does. So it works. So then now we have to put it into our actual pen part, and then this part is sort of tricky. And then basically you want to curve it the other way again, and then see if you can shove it through like that, and then just pull on this part. And you want to be careful because it may start pushing through here and then pushing it out the front, so just keep your finger on the front again to make sure it doesn't do that. And there we go. So it's good. And then again, just double check it to make sure it's working. And yes, it is. What I've done is I've trimmed off the excess wire, so it is just barely sticking above, if you can see that. And then now this next step, this is something you may want to have, but it's basically, I don't know if you can see it, but it's a stand and it has alligator clips on it. And that's just sort of nice because it can free up 2 of your hands. But I'm just gonna hold it there while I solder this. And the whole goal is to have like a teeny spot of solder that you can stick your finger on for it to work. So as you can see, it's sticking out a little more than I want because I want to still be able to put the cap on. But if you're fine with not having a cap and you sort of like it because it feels like something to grab onto, then by all means leave it. And I'm going to try and break this solder off. Alright, and now if you can see what I have achieved, there's a small silver ball, almost like a ball bearing on it. And basically you just touch that and it should work. Let me grab my iPod again to test it. And yes, it works. So let me put the cap on, and that is how to make a cheap and pretty awesome stylus for your iPad, iPod, or any touchscreen device. Thanks for watching.